What is up, guys? Welcome into From the Nosebleeds, episode 115, I think.
Holy shit, really?
I think we should start doing that on the intro to really drill it into people's heads how long we've been around. Let me look, because right off the bat, we're fucking this up on the first time.
No.
Yes,
good.
115. I should remember that, considering I make like the graphics and shit. So like I have no reason. Anyway, I'm Vince Lobiondo here with Pat O'Leary. Seamus is out today.
Seamus, unfortunately,
And
passed
Jake as
away.
well is out. And we have Taylor back behind the glass.
How old were you when that song came out?
What year was that?
07.
I was, well, depends what half of the year, but I was 7 or 8.
Yeah, I was in 5th grade.
Woof.
Yeah.
How old were you, Taylor?
I was probably like 14.
Okay, I mean, that's not...
You're only like 2 years older than me.
Yeah, you like doubled me up, but that's okay.
I was in the middle of high school and you were still in elementary school.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Easily. Because, I mean, I know I was in 6th grade when the Phils won the World Series. Because that was 08.
08, yeah, so I had to be...
So I was in 5th grade, 4th or 5th grade in 07.
When baseball mattered.
Hey, it's back, bud. It's
Yeah,
back.
Seamus isn't here, so you can get all of your baseball hate out. We don't really have much to talk about. I guess we could actually... I was going to start somewhere else, but that's a seamless transition, so we can go right into baseball. The only really thing there is to talk about as far as the Phillies go is Andrew Painter.
Oh, man.
If this doesn't sum up the life of us as Philly fans, like, I don't know what does. The whole offseason, it's like, oh, Andrew Painter, he's the best pitching prospect in baseball, and he's
number one prospect of the Phillies organization.
He's next up.
We haven't had a good prospect in probably 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I guess since Nola was he through our system? Yeah. Before that, it was Hamels.
Yeah.
We never get these guys. So,
I know.
And then there was the rumblings like a couple months ago of like, oh, he might actually make the roster, and they're hyping it up a lot. And
they were
Dombrowski.
100% going to put him on the opening day roster.
And then
like, not a doubt in my mind.
A couple days ago, or I guess late last week, I don't remember exactly when it was.
Yeah.
Rob Thompson says in a post practice interview, I don't even know what it was exactly, that Painter was suffering from like some elbow.
He came in and he was like, "Oh, I have some elbow tenderness."
Yes.
That's pretty much the extent of what they told us.
So that Rob Thompson said tomorrow we're gonna get tests done and we're gonna see what's up, and like basically like the media and you guys will know like what's going on tomorrow. Since then, radio silence.
He said that same thing every time he's interviewed.
Okay.
He's come out and he's been like, yeah, we're still like looking at the tests. We're still trying to get opinions. So
basically, like, to translate what that actually means is
he's dead. He's literally just dead.
Yeah, he died. No, it means the first person they went to gave them something they didn't want to hear, which is probably like out for the season, and now they're waiting on second opinions and third opinions and fourth opinions. So like, obviously, I don't want to be like too much of a doomer here, but Andrew Painter is probably cooked for this season, which like we're laughing and smiling, but like it really is just smiling through the pain.
It's just kind of funny at this point.
Which I mean, like honestly, it sucks. It definitely sucks, but like it doesn't really change the way I view the season. Like for the Phillies.
I mean, he wasn't a make or break thing.
It would have been a nice cherry on top.
Oh, 100%, because that would have really strengthened the back end of the rotation. Like
yeah,
the
but
way he was pitching.
He's still so young. Like there's plenty of time to get him up here and actually.
But it was your beautiful pitch clock's fault, Vince.
Hey,
he pitched. He was throwing 100 miles an hour every 3 seconds because of that pitch clock.
Listen, he didn't have these guys. They do it how they want to do it. For like I said last week. If they want to, rush themselves in spring training to get it prepared for the season, I guess that's what they want to do. Listen, I don't know, man. My thoughts on the pitch clock are basically the same. Like, I would turn it off in the 9th inning of games, probably in the playoffs, and like it should be 25 seconds without runners and 30 seconds with.
Yeah,
I think that's
where we
I think that's better.
Yeah.
And also, I've seen some videos of like some problems that are going to be apparent through the season. Like there was a video, I don't even remember what teams it was, but the batter was not in the box because the pitcher was not on the mound yet. And the pitcher stepped on the mound, and as soon as the pitcher stepped on the mound, the batter stepped into the box, and the ump awarded a strike because the batter wasn't in the box. It's like, well, why does the batter have to be in the box if the pitcher's not on the mound?
Yeah.
Like I think as long as I think the batter, like their clock to be in the box should be like based on when the pitcher gets to the mound. Like don't keep the pitcher waiting, but like that's
the other thing.
They got to clean that up.
The timing's supposed to start as soon as the pitcher gets the ball.
Yeah. Well, there needs to be like a separate. I don't know if there already is like a separate clock counting the batters in the box because
No, it's just once you get to certain point. So once you get to 8 seconds,
That's
they have to be
just-
set.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah, no, I
The
agree.
batter shouldn't have to be set until the pitcher is.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, if you want to do, like, oh, the batter needs a couple extra seconds, like, whatever. But the clock just shouldn't be the same because then pitchers can just farm strikes like that. Like,
Yeah.
just stay off the mound until, you know, if you're a pitcher and you know it takes 6 seconds for your release, like, don't get on the mound until, like, the 7-second mark. And then the pitcher, or if the batter stays out of the box,
Well,
he just
that,
gets a
then the
strike.
batter's cooked already at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
So, listen, I think it's going to be interesting to see, like, the first season of this. I'm sure that if it sticks around for a couple of years, guys will, you know, find ways to work with it, and it'll
Yeah.
seem a lot more natural. But,
Yeah.
like, it's going to be an interesting first year to see if, because things like that are, like, you got to get out ahead of that now. Like,
Yeah.
and fix that now.
yeah,
Because,
I mean, that's why they're testing it in spring training. But also at the same time, I don't know how this didn't come up last year.
Yeah,
We had an entire
when you
fucking
proposed
season
this,
in the
right.
minors. Like,
and, like, as far as the ninth innings shit goes, like, you can't have a game end that
No.
way. Like, you
No.
cannot.
it's
Like,
gonna be terrible.
Because there's going to be a time this season where, like, I don't know if it'll be any big games, but there will be some regular season games that end on that.
Mhm.
Like, it'll just happen because it will, statistically speaking. And when it does, there shall be an uproar.
yeah,
Because,
especially if
you
it
know,
happens to the Phillies.
yeah, it happens to anybody. Those fan bases are going to be in an uproar. I mean,
Yeah.
it happened in spring training, and it kind of set social media on fire because,
Mhm.
like, everyone was like, "Oh my God, think of the possibility of this ending a World Series game
Yeah.
or something."
No, literally. I mean, that's like the worst way to end anything.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
game, any like, just makes me sick.
Listen, I am all for, like, I do not mind the clock that much. I'm kind of for, like, speeding up the game a little bit, but there was an element to baseball of, like, you know, people always say, like, oh, in baseball there's no dribbling the clock out or kneeing
Yeah.
and now that there is, like, a clock, it does feel a little, like, weird,
Mhm.
and maybe it'll just take getting used to, but, like, they have to find ways to clean it up before like the season starts and before it, like, spirals out of control and you actually have people mad.
I'm hoping they just like get back together after spring training's over and they're like, hey, like this is what worked, this is what didn't. Let's figure it out. I don't think they're gonna do that because MLB's a bunch of fucking idiots.
You
But
guys kind of corrected me on it last week. Like, they'll probably make some adjustments in the off season.
yeah,
Like, of
that's the part that
actual
sucks.
season. Yeah, I mean, because I don't see them adjusting anything major mid season. Like,
no.
like
No.
a 5-second increase. Like, they're probably not going to do
Nah,
that
they
because
wouldn't do
people
that.
will be in the people will already be in their routines by then. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, aside from that, nothing really to talk about with the Phillies. I mean, they're just kind of doing the thing, playing baseball.
I am excited to see some of the guys in the World Baseball Classic because you got
Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
Schwarbs, JT, and Trey all on the American team. Got a couple other guys sprinkled throughout. Former Philly Didi Gregorius is playing first base for the Netherlands, so it'll be interesting
Jesus
to see him play
Christ.
first. I mean, I just saw
I didn't know
a
he, I
clip
didn't even know
yesterday.
he was from there.
Yeah, he's Dutch, and so is Xander Bogaerts apparently, because Xander was throwing from short to first, and it was from Xander to Didi, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
That's a connection I never thought I'd see.
I know, but no, it'll be interesting to see what happens in that. See how our guys play in that. We got a couple guys on the South American teams too, so that'll be really cool.
How does that, like, work as far as, like, the schedule for, like, spring training and, like, everything?
So I mean, pretty much they just like do it in between spring training and the season.
How long of a
I don't even
I've
know off
never
the
even
top of my
I've
head.
really never even followed the World Baseball Classic.
I haven't either, but like this is the first time they've done it in a while. I want to say the last time they did it was like 2017.
Okay, that makes sense.
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it feels, what it looks like. Like it'll be interesting to see just like powerhouses of teams because some of those teams, man, are fucking stacked.
What is it?
Dominican Republic,
I was about to say the Dominican
has
Republic
probably
team.
the best lineup ever constructed.
Yeah.
Like, and
yeah.
that's with Vladdy being dropped because he got a knee injury. And they were already saying, like, where do we even put Vladdy in this lineup? Because, like, he'd have to go, like, 6 or 7 because of the star power you have. So it'll be really cool to see all these guys, like, playing together against each other, whatever. Like, it'll just be really cool because you're going to see the best of the best doing their shit. Like, it's just, like, a giant all-star tournament.
I'm doing so I know that I've talked about this with you and other friends. Like, I follow the Phillies very closely, but I've always struggled with, like, following the rest of the league, and I feel like that's because I don't play like MLB The Show, and like I feel like a lot of people keep up with it through that. And this year I'm a little intimidated, but I'm doing a fantasy baseball league.
Yeah, I did not want to fucking do that. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I'm doing that. And
Taylor, you want to join?
Taylor would
Absolutely.
probably rather hang himself than do fantasy
I don't
baseball.
like fantasy basketball.
Yeah,
I love basketball.
fantasy baseball and fantasy basketball are both fucking a lot. I've actually never done like a serious fantasy baseball league, so I don't even like know. Like I my dumbass, like we did the random draft order already, and I have the first pick, and I'm like, fuck, like, I don't
You
even.
and Snake?
I don't even. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
man.
even know who to value here. I guess Otani.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he'd be the best one just because you get both sides, but who knows? I don't even fucking know anything about fantasy baseball.
That's beyond the point. Hopefully, doing all that will help me keep up with the rest of the league because baseball is like kind of an overwhelming sport to really
Yeah.
dig into.
Yeah, I mean, they're large rosters, a lot of guys, so. But, I mean, as long as you keep track of the stars, who the fuck cares in the long run?
Well, anyway, Phillies are doing their thing. World Baseball Classic should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Spring, as we said in our last episode, spring has sprung.
Mm-hmm.
And my birthday, Sunday, we get the spring forward, spring forward, fall back. We
Yeah.
lose an hour of sleep, but we gain an extra hour of the daytime, which
Thank God.
thank God. I just want to put out a quick PSA to all the people who are like, I prefer winter and all that. Like, you're fucking psychopaths.
Yeah, no, I hate people like that.
I'm sorry, but you're
Yeah,
psychopaths.
that's just the
Don't get me
dumbest thing
wrong.
ever.
Fall is cool. Fall is probably the best, but winter sucks, dude. Like, it's cold all the time. Like, it's dark
go
it's
outside.
dark all the time. Like, who the fuck wants to go into work in the dark and get out of work in the dark? Like, it's depressing. You get no sunlight. Like, I don't know. I know you can vouch for me here because you feel the same way. Like, I love doing shit outside.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I mean that's why
whether
summer
it be
is
beer
literally
dye
my
or
favorite.
drinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean if it wasn't for like doing shit outside, like drinking outside, going to the beach, like then I would have fall over summer. But summer just fucking rocks, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
so
just the best.
I just wanted to put that out there. Those people, like, there's those days where you wake up and it's like fucking 2 degrees out. And
Yeah.
I'm just thinking in my head, like,
Who
the
likes
fuck
this?
likes right? Like, who likes this? This sucks.
Yeah.
I think like my mom is one of those people, and I'm every like frigidly cold day, I'm like, you like that? Like, this is what you asked for. Like, does this make you happy? Like, so yeah, those people are insane. But I'm so happy spring is here because spring also an elite season. The transition seasons are better than the regular seasons. Like, I'll take spring over summer. Like, in a way, like I love
Yeah.
the weather.
It's just the rain for me.
The rain sucks.
The rain sucks ass.
What
But
is it?
hey, with global warming, hopefully
April
we won't have any rain
Yeah.
soon. I mean,
April showers bring May flowers, buddy. All right. Anyway, though, transition to the Sixers,
mhm.
who
they've been fucking killing it.
yeah, they've
man.
been looking fucking good. I mean, the first thing we can talk about is their win on Saturday
Mhm.
against the Milwaukee Bucks.
fucking huge.
That-
Fucking phenomenal.
That game was frustrating as shit for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And then the Sixers, man,
they just came alive,
they turned it on at the end there. What did they
which
score?
they've been doing a lot
I
recently.
think they scored 46 points in the fourth.
Yeah,
probably.
it was something crazy like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked
Because
great.
I'm gonna be honest, I was at a birthday party. I didn't get to watch
Same.
majority of it. Yeah, Taylor was at the birthday party with me
Yeah, we
because
were
Seamus
hanging
didn't
out.
show up. So
I was out at the bar with a friend of the show, Dan McGuckin. We were watching the Sixers and trying not to break down in tears when the Sixers were down by 18 points and
yeah.
just looking bad. And
Well, that's literally so. The funny part, I was watching it, and then like they went down 18, and I just like looked at my friend and I was like, "Hey, you want to just like go sit outside in the cold and drink beers?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do that." Because we had like fireworks and shit to set off too. So I was like, "All right, let's go do that."
I
Let's have more
completely
fun."
thought they were cooked when they
Yeah.
went down 18. I was like, there's no chance. They
Yeah,
get
but
back
this
in
team,
game.
they just been finding a way to win. Like they really have. Like even, and I know the Boston game fucking sucked, but
Yes,
even
it
that
did.
game, they almost found a way to win. They just fucked up at the last second.
Speaking
like-
of the Celtics, how about Grant Williams? I'm gonna make them both, and then missed both of them. Celtics have been slipping. Which,
Oh my God, yeah, they're in the second seed now.
while we're talking about the fact that the Sixers are kind of getting their shit together a little bit, it seems like the Celtics are kind of losing their shit at the
Mhm.
same time.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, if I had to predict anything, the Sixers will probably lock in the 3rd seed. But like, there's a chance that they can grab the 2nd if the Celtics continue to fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. The Celtics, they were in the finals last year, so this seems like a moot point to make. But like, I think they would beat the Sixers. But like, I really do think like if they went to the finals, like they're losing to whoever like made it out of the West.
Yeah.
Like the West, I think the West is playing on a completely different playing field, like a level playing field this year. Like,
The West is weird though, because it's like majority of the top teams are usually teams
Oh,
that are not good.
I don't buy into the Grizzlies are We'll
Yeah.
talk about that
Nah,
after
fuck
the
about
Sixers.
them.
They're falling apart. The Nuggets, I think, are just ultimately frauds
Yeah.
all the time.
Wow.
But like when you're talking about like the Suns And
The
even
Suns are stacked.
Like, listen,
the
the
Dubs,
I know the Mavericks
Mavs.
haven't been able to put together many wins like yet since Luka and Kyrie. I think what have they 2-5 or
Something like that.
something in that ballpark.
One
but like,
against us, unfortunately.
I feel like they could still make a good push in the postseason.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And then
like,
the Warriors,
If
like you
you
said.
see the way Luka turns it on, like he literally single-handedly beat the Suns
Yeah.
last year. So like, if
You
you
like-
add Kyrie, like fuck, dude, that's a fucking steamroll of a team right there.
You like the Mavs over the Nuggets?
I don't know. I really
Yeah.
maybe that's my biased brain talking, but like I just don't. The Nuggets are also one of those teams, like, prove it to me. Like, they always like, listen, they made the Western Conference Finals in 2020, but like besides that, they are
Yeah, but that was the
they are the Sixers of the West, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just always disappoint with a
Yeah,
star
I
center.
mean, they don't have a James Harden. I wouldn't say.
Yeah, I mean Murray fell off a bunch. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like he was a stud in 2020, obviously, but again,
So
bubble.
I mean, yes. So was Anthony Davis. Like a bunch of
Dude,
people had a moment.
Anthony Davis has. I still to this day can't believe they had the audacity to throw him in the top 75 all time because like
I mean,
like,
let's be honest,
He's playing
deserves it.
He's playing way better right now.
he
Yeah.
is, but still. How can you convince me that Anthony Davis is better than Klay Thompson, who didn't make it? He's
mean,
not.
Yeah, no, I mean if you
Klay
put
Thompson's
him,
got 3 championships.
Davis's peak is way more than Clay's.
which is true.
They're different kinds of players. I think that Klay Thompson fulfills his role better than Anthony Davis does consistently.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
Klay
Davis,
Thompson is like-
AD was carrying the Pels like on
Yeah.
it by himself
Dude, but
for
from
like
a-
how many seasons? Like 5,
as
6?
long as he was there.
Yeah, I don't even remember how long he
From
was
a
there.
pure shooting standpoint, Klay Thompson might be the second best 3-point shooter ever.
Great.
Like the numbers
Great.
might not
one,
get there.
one part of the game. Great.
Yeah, but what is Anthony? I don't know, man.
He's a better
What do you
all-around player. His defense is all right.
Klay Thompson also underrated on defense.
When he's healthy, Anthony Davis is one of the better defenders in the league. He's one of the better players in the league in general. He's a better shooter. He's a better, not necessarily shooter, but he's a really good shooter, especially for his position.
Overall offensive player.
Yeah, overall offensive player. He is better.
I would like to
offensive.
compare their career numbers, honestly, and take a look. I would imagine.
All right, we'll get in the lab,
All right,
Vinny.
I'd love to see Anthony Davis play with Steph Curry also, if we're doing
This is true.
like
Klay Thompson once scored 60 points on 4 dribbles.
I'm
Who
sure
was passing
I'm sure
to him? Klay Thompson
Davis has
scored-
gotten
Who
there.
was passing to him?
Steph?
Yeah.
It's not like Steph is some great
no, but-
playmaker.
No, I mean, in
He's
his
getting
like,
doubled.
yeah, that's like he's taking people off.
Watch the highlight. Don't let this revisionist history. Watch the
just being
highlight tape
honest,
of that game,
man.
people.
Anthony-
Klay Thompson scored 27 points in a single quarter before.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis had 59 points in 2016 as his career high in the game.
How many dribbles did he take?
Oh, Jesus
I'm kidding.
Christ.
I'm kidding. But I don't know, dude. I think there's a solid argument to be made, especially if AD, listen, I get he's playing better like right now. And I didn't mean to go on a whole rant about this. We'll get back to the Sixers in a minute. But if AD's, I know he's on a little bit of a run right now. If he continues to go in the trajectory that he's been going on, that was a huge premature putting him at 75, in my opinion. Because if he continues to like decline, then I don't know how you argue has a better career than Klay Thompson, who's got 3 championships and will go down as one of the greatest shooters ever. And like Anthony Davis won't be remembered if he
What?
continues this way. What will he be remembered
don't
for?
What
know.
do you mean?
What
I
will he
don't
be
know.
remembered for?
For winning a Mickey Mouse championships,
but-
obviously.
But LeBron
For-
didn't get the credit for that anyway because he
Oh
won
my
Finals MVP.
Okay, that's great.
Like-
but he still won it.
Imagine if Anthony Davis retired right now. What's his legacy?
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, because it's a
Yes.
joke to make the NBA Hall of
Oh
Fame.
no! If it wasn't a joke, he's a Hall of
He
Famer.
doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Why?
'Cause,
Why?
Dude, like shit like that makes me think the Hall
Why?
of Fame is less because I don't think he's had a Hall of Fame career. He's had a fine career. Not everyone deserves to make the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
And I don't think he does. He has 1 championship and nothing else to show for his career.
He's probably got more All NBA teams than Clay.
That I would
guarantee
be
you
interested in hearing.
Yeah.
But
Um,
again, Anthony Davis's legacy is what? Winning a championship in the bubble that he didn't even win Finals MVP for. Like no one's gonna think about that.
I
Face
mean,
of a franchise in New Orleans gave them multiple playoff runs.
I guarantee you more people will remember how he quit on that team than how he was great on that
Oh,
team.
that's everybody. That's the NBA.
Yeah, but like Kevin Durant, at least when you look back on him, people will still be like, "Oh, well, he was a winner."
yeah, because he went to form a super team in Golden State.
Oh, it's not, I mean, AD
See,
did the same- AD
you
did
can
the same
you
thing.
can put this all the different
right.
ways.
But what I'm saying is, at least KD has three, right? 3 rings to attach himself to
Mhm.
to like propel him above the whole like, oh, well, all he did was leave. AD doesn't have that.
No. I'm talking more about the fact that he went. Two.
Listen,
Golden State
more
Warriors.
props to Anthony Davis. It's just, I don't know. I think that he.
Clay has 2 All-NBA teams. Anthony Davis has 4, and Anthony Davis has 4 All-Defensive teams, and Klay Thompson has 1.
Well, you got to also think about position.
Oh my God!
I mean, is that not worth saying? There have been
How
less.
many good perimeter defenders are there? I feel like that's against Davis.
I meant. Listen, I would never try to say Clay is a better defender than AD, but I'm talking about from an All NBA perspective.
I think there's more defense, hierarchy in Anthony Davis's position than Klay Thompson.
I mean, as a guard, there's way more talented guards than bigs in the league.
Not
Defensively?
defensively.
Oh no. Listen, I think that I'm talking about the just standard All NBA, not the defensive teams.
Okay.
The standard All NBA teams. There are more great guards in the NBA throughout Clay's career than there are bigs throughout Anthony Davis's. I mean, you're seeing the renaissance of big men now, but Anthony Davis had to compete with who for a while? Like fucking just DeMarcus Cousins.
Joel.
No, I don't even really.
Did Anthony? How many All NBA teams has Anthony Davis made since Joel Embiid became a regular player? Since 2018 or 2017?
Yeah, 2017.
Since then, how many does Anthony Davis have?
I don't
one?
fucking know.
I really don't know either. I would imagine he racked all of them up early on in his career.
I don't know. I can't see that.
I hated going on this rant. I didn't mean to do this.
I also hate AD, so I hate defending him right now.
You hate AD?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just can't stand him.
I mean, I don't hate him. I don't love him. I just don't. I think he is the prime example of a guy who's on the fringe, maybe, of the Hall of Fame.
I think you secretly hate him because he didn't celebrate LeBron's moment of passing Curry.
That was weird. I still don't know what that was.
Well, he said afterwards, he was like, I was disappointed we weren't winning. We were down 10.
Oh, shut the fuck up. No one's going to remember the outcome of that game. Everyone's going to remember the moment.
AD is. He's going to remember.
And then he's going to remember how, 2 days later, he fucking stubbed his toe and was out for 5 months. I just think he's the perfect example of a guy on, the fringe of the Hall of Fame that, he doesn't belong there yet unless he achieves more. Give me either another ring or another All-NBA team or another, an MVP or a DPOY, or at least being a candidate for those awards.
He has 3 since Joel has been in the league, All-NBA teams.
Okay.
So 3 of his 4.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's just kind of smashed your fucking
well, wait. I'll never give in because he was in the West. So who's the best centers out in the West?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, DeMarcus Cousins and who? Because Jokic didn't really come up until
he wasn't a
Patches slapped
thing.
himself in the face with the mic.
His last one was 1920, so that's when Jokic was already
1920?
Yes.
Like
the season.
I thought you meant 1920,
no.
when we were, when we were
when
recovering from World
started.
War One. All right. Anyway, I'm not going off on this Anthony Davis rant. Back to the I already did though. Back to the Sixers because I actually
5 minutes after the rant. Yeah. All right, I'm done now. I'm not doing it.
So the Celtics are slipping. The Sixers look like they're kind of getting it together.
Mm-hmm. Joel Embiid is just putting on a masterclass every goddamn night.
I mean,
James Harden.
I was just about to say James Harden from Saturday. He had his most points as a Sixer, 38.
Mm-hmm.
The other day he had 20 assists. The second time this season he's done it.
Yeah.
I think he became one of the couple. I don't exactly know the stat. He's one of a few people that have ever done
him,
that.
Wilt, and some other people.
Fuck.
Well, yeah,
you cannot convince me Wilt Chamberlain was fucking real. Every single stat is just ridiculous.
He scored 100 points in a game. There's no video, but he did it.
There's
a picture of him holding the sign that says he did it.
What was that? There was a stat during the Dame Lillard 71-point game.
Oh yeah,
that was it was Wilt Chamberlain has done
70 plus point games in NBA history, and Wilt had 30. Dame had 1, and Kobe had 2.
I don't even believe that Wilt Chamberlain. I'm starting to not believe Wilt Chamberlain was a real person.
He'd be Nerlens Noel today.
Well, you know what the funny thing is?
I would love Nerlens Noel on this team.
The funny thing is, my grandfather coached him at Overbrook High School, so I know he was a real person.
It's just his stats.
My dad used to go watch him play when he was a kid at Overbrook.
I feel like we would feel the same way about Barry Bonds if Barry Bonds wasn't on TV. Because Barry Bonds' stats are the same way as Wilt.
But he was on steroids.
Where it's you could have, some player could get on base for 2,000 plate appearances and still have a way worse on base percentage than Barry Bonds or some ridiculous shit like that. But yeah, Wilt, is fucking ridiculous. But no, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey also been looking great.
Finally back.
We talked about it a lot after the loss to the Heat a couple last week or whatever.
Mhm.
How Tyrese that was kind of his get back game in a way. Like he pulled the Sixers out of the fire because like I said on last week's pod, they would have lost that game by double digits if he didn't come alive at the end.
And then of course Doc inserts him into the starting lineup when he has to guard fucking Kyrie.
Yeah,
really fucking genius move there, Doc. I mean, fucking A. But I mean,
it doesn't make much sense.
I mean,
but
it's Doc. What do you expect?
Well, Doc doesn't make any sense, right? You got to see a little pinch of Jalen McDaniels starting the other day, which
he was great. He's also been a great addition to this team.
Yeah,
Everybody was so down
I probably
on Morey.
underrated the move a little bit because he's been way better than I expected. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm blaming someone because I feel like he needs to start. He gives you juice in the starting lineup. Like I know that
Toby
it will. I was just
for
going to say
making a bajillion dollars.
It'll never happen because Tobias is on a max. But I would so much rather Tobias come off the bench than McDaniels.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
so
just
much. Or PJ.
Honestly, here's the thing with
PJ shouldn't. Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Get him out.
I could
don't
live.
know.
I could live in this lineup, taking either Toby or PJ and replacing them with McDaniels. I could do either.
My
I could do
only
that
issue
either.
there is PJ can take bigger guys and can take a harder defensive assignment. Don't get me wrong, McDaniels has shown that he's a pretty good defender, but he gets pushed around by people because he's fucking 10 pounds wet.
Run the small ball. Nothing wrong with the small ball lineup.
Yeah, I know, but
The death lineup won the Warriors multiple championships.
but
Plus when you got Joel out there, you have your gravitational pull on defense, and he's really all that matters.
Yeah, but then you have guys that if you're going to the playoffs and you're playing the best players in the league, you're going to need somebody out there to guard a Jason Tatum. That's not either McDaniels is not going to be able to do that. He doesn't have the discipline to. The only guy that's shown he's been able to do it, only two guys really, is PJ and Toby. Again, though, I have said in the past, and me and Dan talked about this at length, is, maybe just let Tatum get 40 and guard everybody else because everybody else tends to kill us when we shut Tatum down. But
I mean, yeah.
That being said, I just don't think McDaniels can guard a lot of those premier guards that Toby and PJ have both shown that they can. So that's my hesitancy with putting him in the starting lineup over either of those guys. The one thing he does bring is bounce and energy. That can also lead to fouls, though, as we've seen, because there's been multiple times where he's racked up 3-4 fouls in the span of a minute of game time. And that's a little frustrating to see. He's still a younger guy. It just reminds me of Paul Reed when he was getting less playing time. But I don't know, man. It's I can't, in good faith, put him in the starting lineup. I really can't. Just because Toby's been better from three this year in general. McDaniels hasn't really found his stroke from three with us yet. So I don't know. And PJ is just that guy that can anchor over in the corner, and he still pulls a guy away regardless of whether he's shooting the ball at all that night or not.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the good news of this conversation is we're having this conversation about a guy on the bench being possibly good enough to be in the starting lineup, and he was acquired at the trade deadline, so that clearly means it was a good move and it was the right move.
And just when everybody was out on Morey.
Yeah, listen, I still have my criticisms, but I can't act like I didn't underrate this move, so, props to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the whole thing comes back to what I always say, being the Sixers doomer. I'm rooting for them, and I want them to win and everything. And I'm starting to get to the I'm getting to the point now where I'm falling into what I fall into every year, and I'm starting to believe.
Oh, you idiot!
Yeah, exactly. I'm starting
We're going to the ECF this year too.
I'm starting to believe
and losing, but we're gonna make it there.
I know I'm gonna get let down most likely, but
Jesus Christ,
I'm getting there, man.
We're beating the Bucks in a 7-game series, but
I
don't know.
I think we are.
I think a 7-game series with the Bucks would be electric.
It would be fucking awesome.
I think it would probably go 7.
Oh, 100%.
But
there's not a doubt in my mind.
We fold a
dude,
lawn chair and that's it. There you go. Come on.
Imagine a game 7 where Giannis and Embiid are both going for 50.
That would be hell.
Trading buckets.
That would be absolute hell.
You know how that game ends, right?
Oh, with a Drew Holiday buzzer-beating 3?
No.
A Grayson Allen?
A Brook Lopez
buzzer-beating 3. Brook Lopez licks his finger on so wide open 3.
Yo.
And the Embiid era is over.
On Saturday, anytime Brook Lopez hit a 3, I wanted to kill myself because I just think how is he still 30 and doing this?
He's a great example of somebody that really fucking adapted their game to this new NBA.
Yeah.
Because when he started out, I mean, you look at his brother. His brother
played
never
for
adapted.
the fucking New Jersey Nets?
Yeah. But his brother Robin never really adapted his game the way Brook did. Robin just kind of tried to stay with the skyhooks. Brooke was like, "Oh shit, everybody's shooting threes.
I don't know
Let me
what
work
the-
on shooting threes."
I don't know what the statistics are on this at all, and this might be a bogus claim, but like I feel like Brooke Lopez has to be in the conversation for like best shooting like centers ever. Like he's got to be somewhat
Dirk.
up there. Well, like Dirk, power forward. It
Yeah, but I
depends.
mean-
I'm being like, but I'm not saying he's better than him, but like he's got to be up there at least. Like I feel like he's got a very solid 3-point shot.
I mean, it's really only come in over the last 3-4 years,
Right.
But it's not like
This
if it
version
has
of
been-
Brooke though, like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
he's up there.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like Cat is probably like number 1 or 2, like based off like the actual shooting percentages. But
Mhm.
like Brooke, I feel like Brooke Lopez every time he gets an open 3, he fucking nails it.
especially against us.
And then a guy I mentioned when you said that, fucking Grayson Allen on Saturday.
Went on for like 25.
He went off
yeah.
for 25 in
Monster.
1 quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 0 points in the first half, and in the second quarter, I think he literally went for like 21 points or 23, something like that, just out of nowhere. And that was really what buried the Sixers. I was like, where
Yeah.
the fuck did this come from? Like, that is one of those things that I can see happening to the Sixers in the playoffs. Some fucking not that Grayson Allen's random, but you get what I'm saying. Like, some random fucking guy on the Bucks that you would never
Packing on.
like something like that. Like it's some random person going off for like 80 points against you and like
Mhm.
being like, what the fuck? And that's the reason you lose. Kind of like how in the Hawks series we had to deal with Herter like going off on us, like
Yeah.
just random shit like that. But I can picture in my head a fucking Embiid and Giannis trading buckets in a game 7, putting on a classic. I said this to Dan when we were watching the game. I was like, dude, the league is so like we're so lucky Giannis doesn't have a bag
Oh, I know, dude.
because like
He's just running dunk man.
if he did have a bag, I think he would be the best player of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
Like,
Very
not even a debate.
easy.
Like, the fact that and listen, this is not shitting on him. He's great at what he does. But the fact that all he really does is the run and dunk.
Literally. Yeah.
Thank God that's his only move. Because if that
Yeah.
motherfucker could, like, actually pull up, like, from 3 or even
Mhm.
mid-range, like, at an average level, like, he would be terrifying. He'd be the best player of all time.
Well,
Easily.
that's the thing he honestly has done strictly in the playoffs. Like he's zoned in like the past couple playoffs, and he has gotten better. At
Oh,
that
I mean, his
mid-range.
championship run, like,
That was nuts.
it was one of the best we've seen, like, in recent memory. Like,
Mhm.
off the top of my head, since 2018, the 3 best playoff runs I can think of are 2018 LeBron, 2019 Kawhi, and 2020 Giannis. So 3 straight, or not 2020, 2021 Giannis.
Yeah.
So like basically 3 straight years if you count over the Mickey Mouse year, whatever.
Mhm.
But like
It's not
Giannis
real
is up
anyway,
there,
so-
dude, because he went the fuck off in that 2021 playoffs.
He did.
So
He carried them single-handedly
I'm
because
just-
Middleton
dude.
was out for a chunk of that too, and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
still winning.
I'm so badly just wanting to say, and 2023 Joel Embiid when every game he went out there and he was
Well, see,
averaging
it's-
40.
It's funny you think that, and my thought was, man, I wish Joel Embiid had done that last playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, he got his face broken. Man, I wish Joel Embiid had done that the year before that. Oh wait, he got his meniscus torn.
What's the most likely thing to happen if the Sixers were to go on a championship run is that James Harden
Breaks his
would,
leg.
No, I was gonna say like James. They would if they were both healthy, like James Harden would be the one to go off and like win the Finals MVP and shit. We'd all be happy, but we'd be like, man, I
Oh,
kind of wish that
man.
would have been Joel. I mean, I guess it would be cool.
I mean, regardless, you get a championship.
Oh yeah,
But like, and maybe he'd stay, but also like it
you would want
fucking
want your
suck.
guy to win Finals MVP, like because he is our guy. We all love James. But
Yeah.
like, and like with Joel's luck, like that's what I can see. And I'll kind of use this to transition into the next topic, which is the MVP discourse, because boy, oh boy, over the last few days, it has taken a fucking turn. JJ
Redick
Redick
is an
set the
absolute
goddamn
fucking
world on
moron.
fire, and he's got like, I think he's got like at end wokeness on Twitter,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
tweeting like, "Holy shit,
JJ is a
JJ
hero."
Redick decimates ESPN's anti-white prerogative on live TV." And like fucking Clay Travis, like, look at ESPN doing this anti-white narrative peddling. Good for JJ Redick. Like, JJ Redick, honestly,
He doesn't know
needs-
when to stop talking.
No. He
sometimes.
needs to
really
come out
doesn't.
and like fucking. He needs to either you're owning this now,
Mhm.
or you need to come out and be like,
He might become one of the greatest white supremacists we've ever seen.
dude, because like when people like Clay Travis are like condoning or like endorsing what you're saying, like
yeah, that's
you should
like-
probably take a second thought as to what you have said.
But think about this. This is the guy that saw a woman in a cage in the back seat of a car and didn't do anything about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. This
So I mean,
true. I mean,
it's
JJ
like-
Redick might not be the greatest sense of humor. I feel like people have kind of forgotten about that just because JJ Redick has like suddenly become one of the people that makes sense at ESPN.
Yeah.
But like, all right, let's get into it because let's actually talk about what was said and what is like
Mhm.
the narrative right now. Obviously, the MVP race, I would say it's heating up, but it seems like Jokic is such a heavy favorite at this point. Like, is it really? But
yeah.
people aka real ball knowers, have been seeing Joel go off for the last close to a month at this point. And it started the discourse back up, with Kendrick Perkins kind of leading the charge of the Embiid people on national media,
which we love Big Perk for.
And this has been a conversation that is not new, but I guess it's the first time it's been adapted by one of these big talking heads on ESPN, and that is the whole Jokic, white, a little bit like seeming racist thing, and that's where we're at with this.
Joe Embiidic. And
yeah, Joel Embiid would have won all the MVPs if his name was Joe Embiidic. But like, honestly, I don't know where I land on this, because on one hand, I feel like it's a little bit of a cop out, but on the other hand, like, the last person to win 3 MVPs in a row was Larry Bird. But also, they really wanted to give Steve Nash 3 in a row, and now we're running with 3 straight for Jokic, and like. This is less on the race aspect, but like,
I don't think
give
Nash was back to back, was he?
Yeah, but I think that he almost won a 3rd in a row. I'm pretty sure he almost did. I know he didn't, but like, this is less on the race thing and more on another topic. But like, I'll put it in perspective for my favorite non-Sixer, LeBron James. You could argue that for every year from 2010 to like 2016, LeBron should have been MVP, but voter fatigue. Even Jordan got screwed out of some MVPs in the 90s because of voter fatigue. Where's this fucking voter fatigue now? Where did it go?
Well, the
voter
funny part
fatigue
is,
doesn't fucking exist anymore. Now everyone just wants to hand every single MVP to Jokic. And I saw someone make a comment like, this is the year too. It's funny because like you feel wrong arguing the MVP thing this year, because if anything, this is the year that Jokic really does deserve it.
Yeah, I agree.
But they fucked up the game by giving it to him the last 2 years, and now it just seems like the fucking. I know Daryl Morey had a tweet like about the preferences and who they want. Like it really does feel like every year it's an ever changing set of circumstances for what they want from the MVP.
Yeah,
and there's no consistency to it. And it sucks because, this is probably the year Jokic deserves it, but, like, I don't know. I don't know where to land on the race thing, but, like, for all the people out there that are, like, so, like, oh, my God, they're pushing anti-white narratives and, like, this is ridiculous. Race could never racism factors in to every single institution in America. What in the fuck makes all you people so confident that like sports writers is the one
when you look at a guy like Bill Simmons who's from Boston,
the sports writers of America is the one group that like racism can't get in there,
can't penetrate.
They are the most, they are fucking steadfast and in equality for all. No, like of course it could be possible. I'm not gonna come and say it is or it isn't because I don't really know. But, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like those people like, oh, my God, there's no chance. Like, what makes you think that these people these sports writers are any different than every single other institution in America that racism has deep roots in? Like, it's no different. It's not like fucking, like you said, like Bill Simmons is like the most strong-willed, like, I will, like, come on. Like, stop acting like that. Maybe Perk shouldn't have said it on national TV? Like, maybe. But, like, these people that are picking up Reddick's comments are all it's only a matter of time before like fucking Ron DeSantis is like
endorsing JJ,
yeah, like Donald Trump or like, and then if you're JJ, you should probably come out now and be like, no, fuck you people, but like that's not really what I meant, and like kind of clarify your comments, but like I don't know, dude, it's a mess, and I kind of hate that the MVP discourse has kind of become this, and like it involves because it involves a Sixer. So like naturally, like Joel is gonna get shit for this, and like we are gonna get shit for this as fans, and like it kind of just sucks. But like I'd like to hear your thoughts on it because I feel like I just ran it.
I mean, it's just to me, it's like I get it. Like I get both sides of the coin, like you were saying. It's like it does feel weird, very suspect that like they're pushing so hard for Jokic to keep winning, but at the same time, like you said, this year he has been playing out of his mind. Because he got a couple guys back that have been important in the past years. They're absolutely decimating the West right now, which whatever. I mean, take that for what it is. The West has not been that strong this year. I mean, for God's sake, the fucking Kings are in 3rd place in the West.
Which is so funny.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy about that because I just want to see them make the
playoffs. They close out a ton of close games. Like, that's a legit record.
I've adapted them as my Western Conference team this year.
I know, but it's just like...
They're fun.
It's just like I sit here and I'm like, the Kings. Really? Like,
the West is not like any particular. It's not like a strong.
Yeah,
obviously,
I mean,
like it's
literally
weird.
the Lakers are I think in 12th place right now, and they're only like 2.5 games back from 6th.
It's weird because I believe in the Western Conference teams more than the Eastern Conference teams, but like
Well, it's only certain ones though.
Right.
It's like the ones that just bulk the fuck up at the trade deadline. So, I mean, I think you'll see a couple of those teams rise, but I think a lot of the standings are pretty much set in the East. I think we have a better idea of what that playoff picture is going to look like. But the West could go any fucking way because everything is so goddamn close. There's so many teams that are like either at or like 2 games above 500. And then there's teams that are below 500, the Thunder, that are making the playoffs as of right now. They're a play-in team. So a team that's supposed to be tanking for Victor Wembanyama is about to make the playoffs, which might fuck up their plans, but who knows? They have like 18 first-round picks. So it doesn't really matter in the long run. I mean, the whole MVP thing for me, it's just like I think JJ should have kept that comment to himself and said that like not on air. Like, because that's just not the way to do that. That's not the way to approach that, especially coming from the position that he's in. Being a white male and being somebody that obviously has privilege and got the job he has, probably not only because he played well in the NBA, but let's be honest, he was probably a good NBA player because he probably grew up rich. So I don't think he was in a position to say anything about that, and I think that's something he should have taken up with Kendrick Perkins, with Stephen A. Smith on the side afterwards.
And he should at least now, like I said, like kind of make a comment, like either clarifying or kind of denouncing the people that are endorsing him now, because you're seeing the worst of the worst on social media come out and be like, yes, JJ ending wokeness at Disney, ESPN. It's like, okay, this is getting fucking weird.
Oh, the same company that donates to Ron DeSantis' governmental run? Like, come on, man.
JJ definitely didn't grow up rich. I think he lived in the middle of nowhere, Virginia.
All right, well, I'm talking out my ass then. But still.
Now we got to end you, Pat.
Yep,
you're canceled.
Cancel. But, no, I mean, I think it's something he should have taken up with, like all fair.
I agree.
I just don't think that was the time or place to do that. But at the same time, you know what? It was probably fucking scripted.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's gotten a lot of fucking views and clicks by everybody. So
I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if it was scripted, because it makes too much sense for you.
Back to the actual like play on the court, like it seems like again in these years, like you have like a lot of fucking players coming out in support of Embiid. Like I forget, you had Nick. I know Nick Young is like, no, he's not in the league now, but he had a tweet basically saying like, give it to Embiid. Like he can't keep getting overlooked, and it really
Katie said it early in the year. Anthony Edwards literally last night. Like everybody that Joel is playing against is saying this man is MVP of the league.
It just seems like the players really don't like. I know this is kind of a laughing haha matter, but like Nikola Jokic was about to be the last pick in the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah.
The only reason that he wasn't was because he got up and made LeBron pick him.
Yes.
Like he said he didn't know Lauri Markkanen had not been picked yet, but like.
That's bullshit. He was sitting like right near him. Yeah.
I know Draymond Green is no like reputable source, but he said LeBron was not going to pick him.
I know.
So like the player, I don't know what it is. The players clearly don't respect him that much.
The thing to me is like, and I saw this big argument about it on Twitter today, is that the advanced stats that a lot of people are citing are made more for offensive stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not really taking defense into account. And his defense is atrocious.
Exactly.
Like, if you noticed, everybody that's playing the Nuggets down the stretch is just zeroing in on him and going after him.
He's a mark. He's literally a mark on defense. And this is why...
He gets taken out in playoff games.
Listen, as Philly fans, we can be a little biased in this argument, but, like, Jokic is one of the greatest offensive centers of all time. We can all say that. But, like, the reason why we argue so hard for Embiid and the other people that argue for Embiid, like, it's because what he does on offense is just as good as what he does on the other side of the ball, defense. Yeah. Like, whereas Jokic, he's amazing on offense and then a complete mark on defense. Like, teams
liability,
yeah. If you're playing against a team with another good center, like, they will bully him. They will pick on him. I mean, so it's just weird. Like, I feel like all the players, like, want Embiid, and then Jokic, it's like, I don't know, but like I said, like this is the year that he does deserve it, but you fucked up the game by giving it to him the last two, because what are the credentials for MVP now? No one even knows. Like you had Embiid as a 1 seed and Jokic is like a 4 seed. You gave it to Jokic.
He was a 6 seed.
Yeah, a 6 seed. You gave it to Jokic, and like they were like, oh well, the team and. Like
he was the most valuable player on his team because they wouldn't have had the 6 seed without him.
But now this year, winning is so important. Oh, we're giving it to him because he's the best player on a number 1 seed. It's like, well, why the fuck didn't that matter when Embiid was the number 1 seed? Like, the narratives are
Yeah.
ever changing, and it just there's no consistency. And again, I'll bring it up: voter fatigue. Where did it go? LeBron James should have like 7 MVPs. Then, if Michael Jordan should have won MVP damn near every year he played in the fucking NBA.
Yeah.
But voter fatigue took away MVPs from these guys because they wanted to throw in some parity and like, oh, here you go, Charles Barkley, have an MVP. Here you go, Derrick Rose in 2011, have an MVP.
Charles Barkley needed something to hang his hat on. He
Right,
didn't have
exactly.
shit
But, like,
besides that, so.
Let's be real. Charles Barkley's MVP belongs in fucking Michael Jordan's trophy closet.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Derrick Rose's 2011 MVP, I love Derrick Rose, belongs in LeBron James's trophy closet. Like,
But he had good knees then, Vince.
even Steve Nash's belong to Kobe, or they
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Like, where I just want to know where that went, because that was a big thing. Voter fatigue, voter fatigue, voter fatigue, and suddenly it's just like every fucking MVP is going to Jokic. Because like when will it change? Because if this
When Jokic tears his ACL.
it's because it seems like every single year they're gonna find another way to shoehorn him as MVP.
Yeah.
And again, let me preface this by saying I think he deserves it this year, but with the fact that the last 3 years the narrative and like the curriculum for being an MVP seems to keep changing. So what's to say they don't just change it again next year? Like when do they stop changing it to fit Jokic? Because every year the fucking
Next year
MVP
it'll be
criteria
Tatum.
is tailor made to fit him.
Well, I think half of it is also, and put your tinfoil caps on for this one, just Adam Silver doesn't want to let the Sixers get any recognition. I mean, he hates
that's
that the
true.
process worked.
Like, dude, even if fucking Embiid, listen, I know I'm saying that Jokic deserves it, and like maybe part of the reason I hate him is because of the fans around him, because like I guess he doesn't seem too bad, but like even if fucking Embiid didn't win it, like I wish that fucking Giannis would win it.
yeah,
Tatum.
somebody else.
It just fucking sucks.
Not
See this-
Tatum,
like,
because Celtics, but
it's gonna look. We're gonna look back on Nikola Jokic as being one of the 3 players of all time that have 3 MVPs in a row. I think Bill Russell did it as well. He had a bunch probably, but like. He doesn't belong there. He's not better than. He's gonna have as many MVPs as KD.
yeah.
He's gonna have only like 2 less MVPs than, or I don't know exactly how many Kobe had, but he's up there with Kobe. He's up there with Larry Bird. He's up there with fucking LeBron. Like he's in that range of MVPs. Like, and I don't know. He just doesn't belong. Shaquille O'Neal's 1, and you're telling me Nikola
Yeah, I
Jokic
know.
is better than Shaquille O'Neal?
Well, that's because Steve Nash was good.
It's just fucking absurd, and like it sucks because like let's be real. We're gonna look back, and whether he wins a ring or not, or a Finals MVP, I don't know. It's yet to be seen with Embiid, but like he's not gonna win an MVP in his career. He's not.
No, I
And
don't think you will.
You're gonna look back on the Jokic Embiid era and like be like, kids are gonna look back like we look back on Jordan, kind of where we didn't grow up watching it, but we like know the highlights and we know the numbers and the MVPs and this the rings and all that, and you're gonna be like, wow, Nikola Jokic was great, one of the greatest big men ever, and like no one will even mention Joel Embiid, and that's just how it's gonna be.
Until he wins 3 championships in a row within the next 3 years.
I hope.
But
not to get like too long winded on that, I wanted to talk about one other thing around the league.
guns.
Yeah, guns, and no, not Gilbert Arenas. Ja Morant. So the Grizzlies, as we talked about earlier, are the 2 seed in the West, and they couldn't be more of a fucking mess at the moment because you have multiple guys getting hurt. Ja Morant is like suspended ?
Indefinitely.
No, they didn't have enough evidence.
No, he didn't get criminal charges, but if he had it on the team playing,
He could be suspended 50
50
games.
50?
Yeah,
5-0?
50. If you have
Yeah.
apparently if you have a firearm on
Like the police?
if you have a firearm in a team plane or on team premises, it's a 50-game suspension.
immediately, like no questions
So
asked.
the reason why the NBA is doing this investigation is because clearly the gun was not bought in Denver. So someone brought it there, which means either Ja brought it or his friends brought it, and they're trying to find that out.
Probably Ja.
Look,
yeah,
can
but it's probably going to end up being the friends brought it.
the friends are going to go down for this,
Yeah,
even if they didn't. But I mean,
Oh,
like if
man.
you have to,
yeah.
you can't let your cash cow go to
Mhm.
get suspended and like be fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But like, can we also talk about this? I feel like this is an angle not many people are talking about. What a pussy ass gun! That was the smallest
my
gun I've
God.
ever seen. That gun
How many
was like
guns have you
That's your
seen in your
takeaway?
life?
that gun was like this big, dude.
How
It
many,
looked like a.
how many guns have you seen in your life, Vince?
I've seen guns in real life, Pat. I'm not like a. I know I don't love guns, but like, why was he flexing that pea shooter on Instagram Live? Also, that's another thing that like, dude. All right, but I'm gonna preface all this. Ja Morant was like, he's like one of my favorite players in the league to watch. Like, I think he's awesome. I loved him
Really?
when he came in the league. He's got such a fun game. I mean, when he's playing, he's electric. He's high flying, all that shit.
But he's just running dunk.
And like I feel like a couple years ago there was a lot of like unfair like Ja Morant criticism, like where, for example, there would be like a video of him like on All-Star Weekend like drinking tequila and dancing, and people would be like, wow, like he's so immature, and I would like defend him. I'd be like, what are you talking about? He's just having fun. But now it has gotten so bad to the point where like in the last week, in the last month, Ja Morant has had this problem. He's now being accused of beating up a 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He got accused by the Pacers team of him and his friends pointing a gun laser through their team bus window.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I don't know, man.
Why are his friends, like, presumably, let's say these are all people, like, everyone's always like, oh, you need to surround yourself with better people. But, like, these are probably all childhood friends who he's, like, helping. I don't even know where he's from, but I'm just kind of, like, saying, like, he probably is helping them get out of where they came from to, like, they're his clique. Like, they're not just people you can drop. But, like, why the fuck are they letting him do this dumb shit? That is if
he's doing it, they're not.
Well, yeah, but someone's got to correct this man. Someone's got to be smart because, like, dude, if you go down, we all go down. Like, you are the captain of the ship here,
And then
John.
we'll all go down together.
And it's so weird, like, the way they're talking about it, like, the Grizzlies and on ESPN, like, oh, we're letting Ja, like, step away. He needs to get his mind right. Like, he's just working on things.
Yeah,
like,
it's
what
very
is that?
bizarre to me.
Like, they're acting like,
doing
listen, don't get me wrong. It could come out that something's going on, but, like, they're making it seem like he's having, like, a mental health breakdown or something.
Yeah.
Like, no.
When in fact, it just sounds
he
like
just
he's
brought
an
a
angry
gun to the
child.
strip club.
Yeah.
And
and then the other shit too, like with the like his mom got in an argument.
Oh
at a
yes, and he
mall.
like assaulted the head of security.
Yeah, dude, like it's just fucking like weird shit.
It doesn't sound like he's going through like any mental issues. He's just being young, immature, and stupid.
Yeah.
So like, I don't even.
But here's the thing:
I don't
he's
even
not
know
going
what
to
to make
learn
of this.
anything from it unless he actually gets punished for it.
Yeah, which it's gonna.
And he obviously hasn't in the past. Otherwise, he would have learned his lesson. But
I really don't know where it goes from here. All I know is the situation is fucking bizarre. Like,
it's
so
very
bizarre.
Weird. It's very weird. And I mean, the Grizzlies are just suffering because of it. Because I mean, let's be honest, they went from one of probably the most likable teams in the NBA
Yes.
to like the one of the most hated now.
Hated
because they're just talking shit for no reason. They're not backing it up.
Dylan Brooks trying to play this fake villain role and then coming out and averaging his 5 points.
Yeah.
And like rolling up on people's ankles and like dressing like fucking a WWE wrestler on his walk-ins and like fuck.
It's like, get a grip, bro.
Like come on.
You just got your 16th technical foul of the season and fucking got suspended for a game.
He's really not even that good. And
he's not.
All the shit with Ja, like it's become
I feel bad for Desmond Bain in the long run.
Yeah, I mean he seems like a fine person.
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson.
I like Jaren Jackson.
I don't know, he's kind of a douchebag.
Why am I blanking? Steven Adams.
Steven Adams is one of my favorite
That
players,
was
just because he's just like awesome.
Yeah, I liked Steven Adams because I was a big Thunder fan back in the day, and he was on those teams.
He's just Aquaman. It's sick.
One of my favorite things that came out about like Ja and everything was that a report came out that Steven Adams held a players-only meeting for the Grizzlies, like kind of like talking about like. I feel like it was
on the road.
Yeah, conduct on the road. So it was like a kind of a fucking subtweet to Ja.
Yeah.
And then that same night was the night the fucking strip club incident happened. After the speech.
Yep.
So Ja Morant basically heard, a veteran team leader and like basically said shove it, and went and fucking showed. This is
what does that do for
this
team
is the
morale? That'll be interesting.
Gotta do like horrible. This is the part that's really fucking with me. It's not like one of Ja Morant's dumbass friends was recording and Ja Morant happened to have a gun. Ja Morant got on Instagram, logged in, went live, and then pulled the gun out. He didn't get caught in a situation by one of his dumb friends' video, and no, he did it himself.
Yeah.
You
for millions of people to see.
You gotta be smarter than that. Yeah. And like, listen, I'm not gonna act like I'm smart, but I also don't have a platform like his and as much to lose as him. So, like, he's got to be smarter, man, because you keep fucking up like this. Like, teams aren't going to want you no matter how talented you are, or you're going to find yourself getting in real legal trouble. I mean, again, the Pacers are saying that him and his friends pointed a laser pointer gun through their bus fucking window.
Yeah.
That's insane. Obviously, it could have just been a laser pointer, but it seems like either way they were doing it, it was to give the impression of a gun being pointed.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like, oh, laser pointer. No, like... Either it was a gun with a laser pointer, or you did a laser pointer like with the impression of like, oh, they're gonna think we have a gun on them. So like, he needs to smarten up, bro, because it's ridiculous. And I really like him too. I don't want him to like fucking fall off the face of the earth or go to jail. So yeah, that's a weird situation.
It is. It's very bizarre. one thing, I guess we're going to wrap up in a little bit here, but one thing I just wanted to give a shout out for was Tony D'Angelo, man. He's a genius. He went out, I know we don't talk a lot of Flyers on here, but he's been kind of a big topic this week because his dumbass is out there defending Chuck Fletcher, who hasn't done shit for the fucking
It's the first
Flyers.
time I've heard of him.
That checks out. But my favorite thing came last night in a game where he came into a pile-up, for lack of a better word, and just walks in and just fucking stabs a guy in the dick with his hockey stick.
Yeah, that was insane.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, I'm going to be honest, because he went under another Flyer's legs, it looked like, and then just like ball tapped the shit out of the guy that was standing on the other side. Got a 2-game suspension for it, immediately thrown out of that game. But it's just like, man, like, what are these Flyers doing?
They're the biggest mess, and like I know you said like, oh, we don't talk much Flyers. Like, can anybody blame us?
No.
Since this podcast inception,
Although it would be a very good satirical topic if we just started like fervently talking Flyers. That would be a great satirical.
Since the inception of this podcast by me and Seamus in 2018, the Flyers have been terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they had that one year where they like went on a run, like in
but it was the
2020.
COVID year.
It's COVID year. It's like, other than that, they're just weird. And like, did you see the video of Chuck Fletcher getting booed at the?
Yes,
at the
that
season?
was fucking awesome.
I agreed with one of the commenters. I thought like the bigger owning of Chuck Fletcher would have been if no one went to that meeting. Like no one should.
Well,
have
the only reason people were going is because one, they were season ticket holders and they wanted to voice their displeasure. It was a town hall thing.
The best way to voice your displeasure is by none of you even entertaining him.
Yeah, but Danny Briere was there.
Okay. In that case, no, I'm kidding. Dude, no, like, I don't know how anyone can justify. Like, don't even go. Don't even give him the time of fucking day. Like,
I think it was mostly like reporters too, though. And if there's reporters booing you, you're really doing something wrong because that's just throwing all professionalism out the window.
jabroni in the crowd going, show some class, and then some guy just goes, no. Like, yeah, like, fuck that. Like, the team sucks. The ownership sucks. They seem like they have no direction. They're going to be bad for a fucking long time.
Yeah.
So, like, Carter Hart, get out of here while you can because I know you're pretty good.
Oh, man.
All right, so we can get into our, like, final thoughts segment.
That was
yours?
mine.
Okay, I don't really have anything other than, like, something we don't talk about on the podcast at all, so I guess that's something we have in common here. MMA. On Saturday also we had John Jones in UFC 285, and I just want to talk about like he's the GOAT. Like if you don't watch UFC, like watch it because you've already missed out on his career for the most part. But like the next time he fights, he's gonna be fighting against Stipe Miocic most likely, and that is he's considered the heavyweight GOAT, and that'll be a great fight. Well, it really won't because John Jones will probably walk over him, but that's just a way to see John Jones be cemented as the GOAT. I mean, dude, he took off 3 years. 3 years, and he came and moved up a weight class and beat the number one contender in that weight class in like 2 minutes without even breaking a sweat. The fucking fight begins, and the only strike landed was a dick kick by Cyril Gane, and they broke the fight up, resumed it, and then John just put him on the ground and choked him out. It's insane how good he is. It was very funny because a couple weeks ago you had Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski for the lightweight belt, and after that fight, everyone was conversing for like a week, like, oh my God, which one of them is pound for pound number one? Who's number one? And then John Jones just comes back after a 3-year break and is like, what the fuck do you mean? I'm number one. Like, MMA is on the rise, and I was having a conversation earlier about on the same topic of combat sports, like boxing and just how like dead it is right now, because obviously like the biggest draw in boxing in the last 2 years was Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, both of which are basically fake boxers. But like UFC has just completely outdone them because like their guys actually fight each other. Yeah. Boxing, like today there was, and I'll wrap this up in 1 second. There was a press conference for Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, who are like two of the best young boxers, and like they're actually fighting in April. And it feels like the first time in like in multiple decades that like two guys young and in their prime actually fight each other. Because in boxing, that's the thing. The guys fight each other like 5 years too late nowadays. Look at Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. They should have fought 10 years before they did.
Any Tyson Fury fight.
And that's the number one thing I think is why boxing is dying right now, is because there's no heavyweight division. It's Fury and Wilder, who have already fought twice, and then Anthony Joshua, who everyone I think that even knows boxing casually knows is a fraud. So like, because like casual fans, like for me, like I'm really into boxing, so like I can watch, Canelo pick someone apart technically and win in the decision, and that's entertaining to me. But casual fans want violence. Yeah, they want to see two heavyweights. They want to see two heavyweights in the ring, and one of them is getting violently knocked out. Like, let's just call it what it is. Because look at when heavyweight boxing was at its finest, Mike Tyson, and even further back, Muhammad Ali,
biting people's ear off.
Like that was when boxing was at its greatest, and it won't get back there until they fix that. Until they fix the fucking what's what I'm looking for, judging, until they get guys actually fight each other. And also, hot take, Taylor, are you into boxing like that? Like, you know what you're talking about, right?
More UFC than
basically. Like, I hate that boxing has like 15 different promotions that have belts.
Yeah.
Because like every single match is for a belt because they all have random fucking belts. And then like when
so it kind of just takes away from
it takes away from the luster of actually having a belt, because you'll have like, oh, this guy has like 5 of this division's belts and this guy has like 3 of them. And even when like if Canelo has like all of the belts, he puts 1 on the line, so when he loses it's like, oh, well, he lost 1 but he's got 6 more. Like, they need to find a way to all come under one promotion and like work it like the UFC where there's 1 champ. And also, my last thing to fix boxing is less weight classes. There are way too many boxing weight classes. I feel like they do a weight class every 2 or 3 pounds, whereas UFC does like pretty much every 10.
Yeah.
And like that would create so much more interest.
I think you got to just start fixing fights again.
Dude, it feels like they already do that. Like, I feel like every boxing match I've watched, there is at least, like, if it's a split decision, let's say, there will always at least be one judge where they read their score and you're like, what the fuck was that judge watching? Like the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight, I watched it and I forget exactly what the judge's score was.
Please tell me you didn't pay for it.
No, I didn't pay for it. I streamed it illegally. But
allegedly.
They somehow had a split decision after an 8-round fight. Tommy Fury won at least six rounds. They had a split decision. I was like, what the fuck was that one judge watching? So anyway, that's my combat sports rant for like the month, because Seamus will never let me get this off again. So yeah, that's all I got. Anyway,
Seamus, we missed you. I hope you're enjoying your new phone. I know you were taken away from us because you found out HD porn was a thing on the new phone. So congratulations. You're finally coming out of the 2010s. Maybe. But yeah, no.
Probably not.
Yeah, no shot. But thanks for sticking with us, guys, and we will see you again next week.
See ya.